Well, Kevin, 2-1, mate. Kyogo scores. There's still only a goal in it. Livingston 1 shot, 1 goal. Pretty lethal, but it's more of the same from Ange ball. Domination, isn't it? A story of...
It is indeed.
If we could take our chances. But Abada's, I think, definitely proved it was right to start him. What do you reckon?
Aye, I think he has, it's been a bit of a weird first half, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's been a typical Ange first half, as he said, because we've totally dominated that game. Right? It's been some of the stats that you've seen coming up on the screen. Was it like 1 point 115 final third passes by Celtic? I think we've only played 30 minutes. That's an incredible stat. That's just how dominant we've been in that first 45 minutes. To only be 1 goal up, though, is a bit... I'm not going to say it's worrying. It's disappointing more than anything, because they haven't done anything to deserve the goal. It's been one lucky chance in a way, and they've taken it. But aye, very dominant first half. Abada, as he said, I think he's totally deserved and proven that he's meriting that place in the team, because he's been... I mean, both the goals have come for him, really. The first goal, his cross that the defender deflects in. Second one, Kyogo's goal. I'm sure we'll talk a bit more about him as we go on. But he's definitely been a key player for us, I think, in the first half, Abada.
What about defence? Did we just fall asleep? Because it was out of nothing, wasn't it? There was a bit of cover, and all of a sudden it's in the back of the net.
It was. Do you know, I think the Celtic defence did what my stream was doing, because for the final 5 minutes of that first half, it kept on cutting out and coming back and cutting out and coming back. And then, that's what that goal looked like a wee bit. Just switched off one time in the half. Switched off. It's a decent ball that's come in behind the centre backs. Maybe, I don't know if Carter Vickers is just a bit flat-footed, and that's why he doesn't react to it. Taylor just gets done a wee bit for pace by their man Devlin. I think he's just reacted quicker to the ball coming through. It's a decent finish. Don't know if Joe Hart can do much more with it, but
did Tony Ralston have a chance to clear it? Do you think he can maybe if he hadn't been carrying the injury? Because let's be honest, his game's he's lucky still going apart, isn't he? I think we're looking at the bench and sub him.
He's taken a few sore ones in that half as Ralston. Not least the one for Joe Hart just a couple of minutes before, so maybe he is still feeling the effects of that one. But it was definitely against the run of play. It'll give Livy a bit of confidence, you'd think, going into the second half. But I think if we just come out and try and do more of the same as what we've done in the first half, then we should be fine.
Well, Kyogo scoring, you're thinking, that's it, it's 2-0. Right, well, it's not a bit of freedom now, but let's go add some more. The pressure's off, get a 2-goal cushion. Surely we'll add to this.
I mean, that's
a big goal coming. You know what I mean? And listen, it's only 45 minutes. Was it a penalty? When the boy does that with his hands out and a ball hits off of him? I know they're close to his body, but he moves his hands to that position. I don't know. Would it have been given against us?
Well, you see, Lawrence, I was going to ask you about that, because I've written down a few wee points here, and I thought, we're getting to that point in the game where I was thinking, do you know what, VAR's not had anything. It's been no involvement so far. It's been a pretty easy game to referee and to manage. And then you get that, and you just think, do you know, I don't think it's a penalty, personally. I think the shot's coming at him. It's pretty powerfully struck. His arms are tight into his body. He probably can't move to get himself out the way quickly enough. But the big question is...
distance, though. It's not that close to me. It's coming from distance.
It is from distance. See, that's going to be my point on that one. I don't think it's a penalty, but if it's down the other end, it's going to a proper VAR review, because we've seen the
against Matt O'Reilly.
There's the one against Matt O'Reilly. There's the one against Bernabei against Dundee United, which I think is the most ridiculous one of them all, because he's not watching. He's still reacting to the cross. It's just gone over his head. He's got no idea that the ball's even behind him. So that was ridiculous. So yeah, if it's down the other end, you're not surprised if it's given, and since it was up at that end, you're not surprised that it wasn't given. So
I think that sums it up, doesn't it? It's kind of more of the same from the VAR refs.
And we saw a few of those decisions last night as well. You go, is it a penalty? Was it a handball? It's maybe too tight to call. but in a different game against a different opposition, those decisions go the other way. So I don't know if that's the paranoia talking or not, but
But we got the cushion we
definitely
let
seen
it
it happen.
slip. Any changes at half time, do you reckon? Because I thought, as much as we'd all the possession, and Kyogo's got his goal, but what time do you bring Giakoumakis on? Because do you give Kyogo another 20 minutes? Think that's maybe lifted his confidence. See where we go. We don't really have a replacement for Anthony Ralston.
We don't. Looking at the bench, the only one that you can bring on is Jens, but then he's a square peg in a round hole because he's not a fullback.
Would you go back
So,
3 then?
I don't think that's Angie's style to change that and go back 3. I don't think we need to either. I think the formation's working, kind of, for us just now because we're dominating the game. Maybe you go back 3 later on, but no, I wouldn't make that change. The Kyogo goals it changes the narrative in that one big time because I'm sitting there again writing down a few notes and going, Kyogo's been quiet. I think his movement's been poor. There's been 3 or 4 really decent balls played in across the 6-yard box, and that's where you want your Kyogo attacking them and getting on the end of them, and he's been nowhere near them. There he misses a couple of chances after the half-hour mark. There's the one, trying to think who it was that slipped him through. It might have been O'Reilly, I'm not sure, can't remember. Actually.
Yeah, and hits it straight to the keeper, more or less, isn't it?
It's straight to the keeper.
He's not finding the corners there.
No, he's not. And you just think a confident striker probably is, or he's maybe going to try and dink the keeper. He's going to do something a bit different. He snatched at it. Then he gets the goal, and it's everything that he hadn't been doing beforehand. It's the good movement. He gets across the defender. He hits the near post where the ball's been coming all game, and he scores. So we know that he's not a bad player, and he never has been. He just needs goals. So maybe, you give him the next 15, 20 minutes. And then on the hour mark, when Ange likes to make his changes, that's when you get Giakoumakis on. He gets a half hour, which is a decent run out. And he's a totally different proposition for that Livy defence. And we need to be a bit more physical against them. Because I think at times, the way they're packing the box, like 8, 9 men in the box, we need someone that's just going to bully them and create the space for someone else to get shots away and create things.
Whilst there's only one goal in it, you'd expect Livy to keep it tight, but when it gets to the last 15, 10 minutes, you might see them being a wee bit more adventurous. It's 2-1. Team might get a wee bit nervous. They might fancy, throwing some balls into the box and see what the referees say.
Aye, well, exactly, and it's all these things. It's the small margins in these games, because if Kyogo doesn't score his goal, then I think the talk is it's more, do you bring Giakoumakis on at half time?
Yep.
Or do we risk waiting until the hour mark? Now we'll probably wait until the hour mark because you can't take him off after he's just scored. With them getting that goal, and again bringing the lead back down to the 1, it definitely favours them if it stays at 2-1 going into the last 15. But the way we're playing though, in that first 45, we've actually created quite a few decent chances. And I think if we keep on doing the same, maybe just up the tempo at times, because there was a few moments in the half where you're thinking we're a bit predictable. Everything's just going from side to side and we're not creating anything. And then all of a sudden we start playing the through passes into the channels. We're getting the crosses in the middle. So I think if we just keep that kind of focus, keep playing the way we did towards the end of the half, minus the last couple of minutes when they scored, we'll keep on creating chances. And we know we've got boys that can score them. So no, I don't think I would be making many changes. I don't know what you're thinking as well about Jota. As we spoke
very quiet
about Abada, kind of doing the work down the right, setting up both the goals. I think Jota's been a bit disappointing.
Yeah, Jota's got to be up in his game in the second half. Or you've got Forrest and Haksabanovic ready to come on and take his place. So I think Jota's been quiet. Expect a wee bit more from him. Hopefully it gives us a better second half than it's given us a first. It's just it's a worry. Ralston gets injured because we played Taylor at right back and Bernabeu at left. That's a worry, if Ralston's not fit. What do we do? to come out because he looked to be carrying that, and I think Fit Ralston probably slides in and makes an attempt to clear that off the line.
Yeah, I think that is a bit of a worry if he isn't fit to really continue, because it would unbalance us, because again, you're going with a centre back at right back. You're not going to have that same attacking instinct.
No, so move Taylor over.
Going forward.
Move Taylor over.
Move Taylor, would you? Move Taylor over and bring Bernabei on?
Beside of that, it's a centre half at right back, isn't it? At least you've got full back that's used to playing an inverted role.
Yeah.
He's used to attacking.
That's a decent shout.
We've got that option. We'll see how long Tony Lassie might be in there getting, the magic sponge and come out fighting fit for the second half. I thought early half of the game he showed a lot of desire. Tony, he was getting up, he was getting shots off, get crosses in. So yeah, it's shown why he's holding down that shot, wasn't he, early half of the game?
He was indeed. There was a few moments. Again, I've got a couple of notes there. It's I think either one of our first clear shots at goal, the one that he's hit a cross goal, goes just over the crossbar. Then he's had another effort, low and hard this time. Keeper's tipped it round for a corner. So he's definitely been that attacking threat, and I think he'd probably lose that more than anything if he was to go off. Because if it is a centre back out there, he's not going to get forward the same. So you're losing the threat, then all the threat in the right is on Abada, and he works better with somebody playing off him. So maybe if we did make that change, actually, there was one of the comments that came through. I'm not able to pull up because I'm not sure how to do that at the moment. But someone did suggest James Forrest maybe coming on at right back if we need to.
Not too sure right back there.
That's the one. He's at least.
I've got your back three and put Forrest on as a wing back.
Well, there's your option there as well, eh?
Yeah, then on for Taylor. You've got a pretty solid back three. I was going to
say, you didn't need to drop someone else back. Maybe that's Jota to come off.
It would be a huge miss so far.
Yeah,
it would be a huge miss so far. What about the midfield? Is it time for the return of Moy after his excellent showing at the World Cup?
Well, my thought in the midfield is more Haksabanovic to come in. Because I've got a feeling that he's a number 10 for us. He's a number 10 in the making. I like him out wide. I think he's a good player. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's got the directness and the trickery. I think he's got a really good pass in him, a good through pass, good vision. I'd like to see him maybe playing through the middle. And I think what we've been lacking at times today is someone in the middle who does something a bit different. As much as we love O'Reilly and Hatate, at times they maybe slow it down a bit, or it could be a bit predictable. It's a bit too much of the same every time. Haksabanovic, I think, he'd just give us something different. He'd speed the play up. He'd be willing to take players on through the middle rather than just always coming from out wide. So I think that could be an option. The other one is probably Moy, because he was excellent at the World Cup. So you've got to take advantage of that and get him on while he's still on that World Cup high.
Yeah, definitely. I think we'll see all 5 subs used at one point. And this.
I think that's.
What is it? 9 shots on target out of 14. We're getting a bit better at hitting the target, aren't we? Percentage-wise, 2 goals.
Yep. Yes, and we'll take it in small steps. We'll start to get shots on target, and then we'll look to convert them into goals a bit more. I need 2 goals in the first half. Can he really complain at that? It's a good reflection of the dominance we've had. The only complaint is one slip up at the back has led to 1 goal.
Yeah. I think it just went to sleep. It looks like, and I think if Tony's 100% fit, I think he's nursing that ankle, isn't it? I think he slides in and makes an attempt at clearing it. Whether he does or not, who knows, but he didn't look even fit enough to slide in and try it. But look, as you said, more of the same second half. I don't expect any immediate changes unless Tony is injured. Mm-hmm. And you've got to get Kyogo another 15 minutes at least after scoring his goal. See if it does to his game. See if it rejuvenates him. Because the last time he was going through a drought, he scored and he just seemed to come alive for the rest of the game after that, didn't it? So maybe
I think he's definitely that kind of player, that confidence player. You go through wee droughts where he doesn't score, and then he does, and he just becomes a completely different player again. and you know he's got it in him, that he can score the big goals. So I think this could be a real good boost for him. But I still think at some point in the second half, just to freshen up, you need to make that change. You need to get Giakoumakis on, or we need to make a change out wide at some point. And it's probably got to be Jota again, which is really disappointing because he should be the star man. But he faded against Aberdeen and was disappointing in the second half. And he's been pretty poor so far in this game. But maybe he's going to listen to the glory and the dream getting played over the tannoy at half time, and that's going to spark him into life in the second half.
Listen, if that song doesn't inspire you, what will? But I believe they're back on the park. It's kicked off, so we'll see you at full time.
Let's do it.